Watching the beat industry with me, Carrington Hill. In this film, you'll see interviews from two producers. Also, you'll see a behind the scenes of how a studio is operated and how producers navigate going through a beat, how they create a beat, how they produce a beat, and how they get it out to an artist. Also, you just see the whole process of the creative process of music and how it's made. So stay tuned and let's get into the film. So as you can see here, we're in the studio with BALLSZN, also known as Patah, and we're observing how he creates his beats, how he creates his music when he's before he sends it out to the artists that he works with, and we're just observing his creative process of how he goes from start to finish with his beats, and how he lays it out, how he mixes it, how he masters it, and just in general. So we're observing how he's doing his process right now. This one's hard. Yeah, I think we should go with that one.
That nasty beats that wave. So I'm gonna do my own beats.
So as you can see here, you're watching BALLSZN create another beat, and he's just going through the process of creating his hi-hats and just getting the bounce and the flow of his hi-hats, and so that it could have a certain pocket for the artist. Because if your hi-hats is not right, then and if it's not in a certain pocket, the artist can't flow properly within the song, and it's just not gonna be right. It's not gonna feel right, and the artist is just not gonna want to pick the beat. So this is an intricate part when it comes down to beat making, and this is the reason why it takes so long to just get the bounce and the flow of the hi-hats. So you're watching him get intricate with his hi-hats real quick. So now we're gonna get into two interviews that I recorded with two producers, SYSCO and Mark Sinister. Both producers were explaining the business side of producing and just the whole music industry, and also just explaining the creative process of how they go about doing their music and managing artists and just dealing with artists and producers and creatives. So now we're just gonna go right into this interview right now, starting with SYSCO. I'm gonna just ask you like just a couple of questions, honestly. So basically, explain explain what it takes to what it takes as a music producer right now. Like, what's your process as a music producer?
Basically, my process as a producer now is basically to stay in the loop. And when I say that, is just you gotta pay attention to what's popping, what's hot right now, and completely play around with your sound. You gotta balance out your sound. So, one thing I do is check out other elements from other songs and what I like about them. So my fault, Carrington.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so basically just filling out the music. Like, I have artists, for instance, that be like, oh, I would like this song. I want that type of feel. So I'll go in there and curate that type of feel. Get the BPMs together, get the type of sound. You know, that's the type of workflow I do now as far as producing. Just getting a better workflow.
What do you think it takes for an artist to be good now?
An artist has to be their own engine, bro. I'm noticing about a lot of artists, they can have talent, but if they don't believe they have talent, they're never gonna go nowhere, bro. Right. I know artists that record themselves, write for themselves, can engineer, do all their VSC effects, everything. It's on them. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people always rely on other people to move them. Another person is just supposed to get you to your next level. They're not really supposed to be doing the work for you.
Right.
A lot of people.
How is it important to make sure your sound sounds clean with mixing and all that?
You gotta know the distinctive difference between your low ends and your high ends. You gotta separate your tracks. So for instance, I stack my music from melody down. I do my melody, my hi-hats, my snares first because I know that's all high frequency stuff. What happens is as you're sitting there listening to this for so long, you want to cut all the low end on that, keep all that high, keep your mids together, and then when you put your lows in, you cut your highs in and you keep your lows in, and that leaves room for your music to move. To actually boost, these frequencies to get the nice tone that you want, and there's so many different plugins to change the factor of that sound. But definitely change frequencies.
Right. And how is it important for an artist to have like backing behind him with management or them with management and all that?
Once an artist sometimes don't know, an artist wants to start off being creative. That's how it starts. You're in your basement, you're being creative.
Right.
The main part is how to sell the product. How do you get the product out there to fill in the blanks that you're not thinking about, to overthink the things that you're not thinking about? For instance, as a producer, I look at producers as artists. A producer should be branding himself. He should be, filming himself. Everything he do should be making money. That's the lifestyle, but that's management, because the way you make money, I make money. So in every aspect of your life, you got to make money. That's the whole goal of getting to the next step. But a lot of people want that, but don't have no product to sell.
Right.
So my man, if you're not producing and making, and me as a manager, I'm saying this, if you're not making like 20 songs a day, how are you gonna make money? If I got an artist calling me and saying, yo, I need this type of music, and I call you and you ain't got it, or it takes you days to produce that, you're not a producer. The word producing is to product. If I needed 12 keys tonight, you're gonna get the 12 keys to me tonight, because that's how you're gonna make your bread.
Right.
It's the same artist. You gotta be the engineer on your machine. That's it. A manager is not gonna produce the music for you. I'm around. I got money all day, around music opportunities all day, bro. I don't open my mouth to anything, because as of now, I open my mouth and I ask for music, nigga, give it to me.
Right. Respectfully.
Respectfully. I be like, yo, send me this. I just barked on Mercy yesterday about that. Like, it's business, bro. Like, you're missing opportunities. I got it that's about to get signed, and everybody's trying to place the song right now, and I'm in pocket. So if I'm
you gotta be there in the moment, honestly.
This is why I'm down here, bro.
Right.
And you got to pull the trigger, be impulsive about your life, because a lot of people, you can make a hot song today, and then that shit is, all right, what's next?
Exactly.
You gotta have pain in them shit. 17, Juice WRLD, 17, whatever. Go in there, you make your own shit. You guys got the rhythm, though. Y'all doing that shit right. That YouTube is a monster, but even that, you can do better with the YouTube. Yeah. Think outside the music. You guys are creators, but you're not like great creative. You know what I'm saying?
You think
come in.
You think
So right now we're about to get into Mark Sinister. You're currently listening to SYSCO explain the business side of the music industry and artists, handling artists and managing artists and producers. But right now I had to cut his interview short because his interview was way too long. But we're about to get into Mark Sinister and him explaining how he runs his studio and how he manages artists as well as dealing with artists and producing his beats. So let's cut to Mark right now.
You know, taking money.
so? How'd you get into music?
Well, I come from a family of musicians. Father plays the bass, mother sings, she plays guitar as well. Grandfather plays guitar. You know, so it was pretty much something that I was involved with as a young kid. You know, always influenced. It was always there for me. And my parents are a great support system. They always, looked out when it came to what I need as far as pianos or whatever the case is as production. You know, so it was definitely a way for me to just to start my own lane, do my own thing, as a music producer and start doing stuff.
How do you feel a producer would have to be in 2020?
2020 or like 2021, the year coming?
2020, how do you make it as a producer, honestly?
I think the best way to make it as a producer right now is just to do lock-ins, lock in with the artist, build relationships, so you can pretty much get involved and see what the artist is going through. As far as their personal life, maybe ask questions, because sometimes you might feel like the beat, the email for me, like emails never really was a thing that worked. Sometimes it did, but I feel like when I had one-on-one sessions with artists, it was something that worked organically, and it always, like 9 out of 10 times, the track came out what we expected, because I felt what the artist was doing, and I went off that energy and pretty much produced and made the track towards that.
How is it on and off your own studio?
It gets busy at times, sometimes overwhelming, but just have to understand that it is a business, and you have to look at everything from a business point of view more than a producer, because I do music producing mostly. All of my time is music production, you know what I mean? But as far as the owner, you got to start seeing things from different aspects, as far as the artist is, the comfort for them in here, and as far as the engineers working with them, it pretty much becomes like just overlooking things, you know what I mean? So but it's good for the most part. It's good. You meet a lot of people. It's a good chance to network.
How important is it to have your paperwork in order?
It's very important. If you don't have paperwork, then you might as well just not even do this, not even produce, not even take anything serious, because that's pretty much what guarantees, like a bag for you, like a future. Like how can you do something and not have your name on it? When you have your name on something and this paperwork, everything is backed up. When it comes down to it, you're gonna get the cut, the residuals down the line, everything that you work for. So paperwork is very important.
Do you feel like an artist right now needs a label to have them backed, or they're able to be independent?
Independent. From the artists I work with, I noticed that a lot of them are independently doing things, and it works out for them because, they're in control of their own what they want to do. Not as far as, all right, when you're on a label, they decide, pretty much from experience when your album is gonna drop. What can you do as far as an artist? Indie has pretty much a little bit more freedom towards it, and I think now in this new day and age, the artist is at a position where they can actually get back up from a label, as far as them needing the label to, That's what I mean.
Alright, so how would you handle labels in terms of paperwork and making sure you don't get screwed over by a label?
It's pretty much your paperwork from the beginning. I would say have an entertainment lawyer. As a producer, have that at your side at all times, just to pretty much help you, look through the guidelines and the paperwork. Some things we may not understand, and it's about hype as well, because I believe like paperwork, sometimes a label, they want to throw you a bag, a large sum of cash right there for you to sign with them, or just for the beat, and right away you just want to sign the paperwork, but in between that paperwork, there's something that's going to screw you up down the line. So it's always good to have somebody professional, entertainment lawyer, or somebody who, of that, that caliber, who is going to be able to look over your paperwork and pretty much make sure that you're going to be set as far as your cut, your back end, your rights as a producer for that production. That's the best way to go about it.
For someone that might want to get into running a studio, what would you say to them?
Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the goal. There's light at the end of the tunnel. It could happen. If this is what you want to run a studio, just stay focused and just go for it. It's risk, sacrifices you have to take, but some things are worth it, because I took a lot of sacrifices to do what I had to do, but to me it's worth it. It was all worth it. It worked out for me in the long run.
Do you think it takes a lot of money to run a studio?
It's all location. It's where you wanna set your studio, where you wanna be. As far as size, as for me, I got the studio with nothing. I built it from scratch, like sheetrock. I did everything on my own, so that kind of helped me out as far as budget wise. But if you don't have the opportunity, then I say just find what works best for you, and just go with that. Go with your gut feeling.
Do you feel like it takes a lot of money to start producing and engineering?
No, not at all. Because now, day and age, you could get software, plugins, anything you need. You know what I mean? So, it's not at all. I mean, it's all ideas. There's so much software and different things you could do now, as far as MIDI keyboards, connecting to the software, sounds and drum packs and loops and samples.
So you just finished watching the interview with Mark Sinister and SYSCO. They both explained making sure your business is correct and right with the music industry, and also just all overall in general with the music industry and the business side of handling artists. Handling a business within the music industry is very intricate and crucial to you as a creative. If your business is not handled properly, it's never going to be right with you. Music as a whole has always been an intricate part of my life. And as you can see with the people that I've shown within this film, music as a whole is a part of their life as well. They're all creatives in their own aspect of themselves, and they all create beautiful content to release to the world.
Breaks.
I started beat making back in 2017 with just FL Studio and a laptop, and ever since then I've always created and expanded my knowledge on music making and music production. Music production doesn't take a lot to get into. It just takes practice, and it just takes effort and work, and anyone could be a creative. Music, beat making, if you want to learn something, all it does is just take practice. Everybody is always trying to get into this industry. This industry is a very competitive industry and very hard to get into, but with effort and work, it can be possible for anyone to step into this and shine in their own right. When I set out to do this film, I wanted this film to be organic, feel organic, and as you watch it, just take you into my life and just the perspective of these people that I've shown within this film. I've shown many different music producers and many different creatives, business people that's within this space. Unfortunately, there was supposed to be a lot more people within this film, like engineers and also just business people that's a part of this industry, this space, but timing and conflict came up. If you're a creative artist, producer, engineer, or just an entrepreneur, I hope you was inspired by this film, and I hope this inspires you to want to go out and create something of your own. because this right here, this music right here, music is so empowering. It's so powerful. Anyone could be inspired by this. So I really hope this really inspired a lot of you guys to go out and really just create something, because I get up every day and I create something no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's film, or it doesn't matter if it's making a beat or writing a song. Anyone can do this. It's not limited to anyone. So thank you for watching. You've just watched The Beat Industry by me, Carrington Ill, as also known as Brenton Briggs. I would like to thank everybody that contributed to this film. Hopefully you guys enjoy this film, and thank you.